Hey guys, Wheatywaffle here today, and we are back in City Skylines 2, playing our city of Lethe. It's been a minute since I've done some recording. You might also still hear it in my voice. I'm still getting over being sick, which is why I didn't have a video last week. So just bear with me. I'm going to edit out any coughs or anything that I have. But yeah, I've done some stuff in between parts here. Nothing major, but some minor stuff. I don't recall if this was on camera or not, but I did remove kind of this industrial area over here and just expanded out what we had over here in Sunset Springs. So now we actually have like a nice space to begin building, and we're getting some residential demand, which is really exciting. So we'll be able to start working on that, I think, at some point today. I did go ahead and just send this train line across the river here. So it's just a big old bridge. We're in a cliffy area, so like we had to bridge it. But it came over here and I just ended it right here. I think what's going to happen is we'll start to build this out in a future episode at some point. And then I think the train line is going to curve and actually go along the edge of the mountain down and into this area here. So it's going to do a long kind of far hug this way. So there will be a world in which you can take the train, I guess, from all the way over here, all the way through up, and then kind of in through and down all the way over to Lake East. So we'll have one really long train line that connects everything up. People are upgrading, and that's very exciting. I don't know why, but keep doing that. That's awesome. What else did I do? I snuck in a cheeky little highway exit here. So the highway goes underground and it comes over to here. And I just took a road and just pulled it off, looped it up, and pushed it out. I don't think anybody uses it. And if they do, it's very few people. But I was just trying to give, while I was trying to not do too much off camera, I was just messing around, and that came out of that. So I don't mind it. It's fine. What else did I do? We did the industrial. Did I do anything else? I wrote in my little notes, revamped highway connection, and I could not tell you what that means. I guess this has kind of been revamped in that this now has this new like Cherry Street. I don't know. I think that's all kind of the same though. Yeah, I don't think that changed all that much. I think before it might have connected into here. Unclear. Honestly, I wrote these notes like a while ago. Because I try to record a week in advance. So I had a week already recorded, then I took a week off. And so I'm a bit like trying to remember my own plans here. But I did also rename Lowest Peak to Lowest Peak Park. I had the idea that this could become, I know we don't really have nature reserves or anything like that in this game, but this could become something like that in the future. And if you see anything else that wasn't like it was when we were last together, then it's because I made changes and I just forgot to tell you about them. All right. So unoccupied buildings taxes. Let's look over the taxes of our commercial. Something I want to have in this episode. Well, honestly, the taxes here are perfect. So I want to get some commercial going in this city, but I think there was still a lot of commercial that has not yet been addressed and not yet refilled back in. So we don't need it just yet. What I want to do is, I think my goal for today is to finally address this guy right here, this subway yard. Now, I've thought about it and thought about it and thought about it. I mean, I frankly can't stop thinking about it. This seemed like such a good idea when we had them together. But now I'm realizing that there's no sense in this subway yard being all the way over here when I don't really anticipate basically Coleridge Bluff and everything to the right having any kind of subway. So I have to get this subway line through all this, and I don't think it makes sense. So what I'm thinking instead is that the subway is either going to move here, or back here. And then we'll be able to like kind of immediately tie into this downtown. So I think let's try to start with that. Let's go ahead and hit move. Really, this area and this area have the opportunity to be much flatter. If we were to put the subway station here, I could presumably push the land back a bit and have it sunk down and have it like over here, kind of near Sunset Springs. We already have some bus depot infrastructure there, so it wouldn't be too much of a hassle to have it here. And we could kind of tie into this cliffside. So that could go there, and then on the rightmost portion over here, these tracks could come out and feed into the city, okay? Or we could try to squeeze it in here. I think my problem with this area is it's super tight. It would look awesome if we did it, but we have so much land available that trying to force some of these buildings into some of these areas, I just think it's making it more challenging on us than it needs to be. So I think we put it here, because if we put it over here, we've got to flatten out a section of a mountain that's already going downhill, which is going to then just look very strange. I mean, I really like the texture. Look how wavy this mountain is. I really enjoy that. I don't want to just have this weird flat section next to this. I think it's too much. And then we could also avoid having to go over top of this train station, which I think would be great. So let's immediately jump into some terraforming. And this is actually good because all of this here is, it's not really industrial, but it's a city service, right? So in a sense, it's kind of industrial. Like, people don't want to live near it. Some people will, but I'm not taking away valuable or super valuable land. Okay, so just gonna give this a little bit of a smooth out here. We're gonna make this look really nice in a minute, but for now, let's just start building infrastructure and then figure out how that works. So I think that I wouldn't mind having an additional road here to come straight along and connect right into here. Now, I want to upgrade this road to key wall on this backside. So all the zoning will be on this road here. We can even key wall over here. So all the zoning will be facing Linden Street. Let's go ahead. It still has it selected. Amazing. And let's place our subway yard here. I think before we do though, let's actually move. Let's move this. We have one over there. I think we move this guy. I wouldn't mind trying to tuck it in, kind of into the downtown a bit more. It gets a little lost, but that's okay. Or maybe we even think about moving it back here somewhere behind the train station, but we'll come back to that because that's not the focus. We're going to focus on focusing today. Let's slap this puppy down right here. I think I'm going to have to remove this roundabout. Maybe actually just do a little bit of editing here real quick so that we're all ready to go. Terraforming. Let's grab this and flatten this out to here. Take it a little bit further than we want. And let's scoot this over. And let's scoot this over. Let's remove this road entirely. Then, hold on. Let's grab this road. Send it kind of like down the mountainside a bit. Give it a little bit of a curve. Place it there. For now, it's just going to get a tiny little roundabout there on the corner, and that's where we're going to place this guy. It might be, further than necessary, but I think it's going to do what we need anyway. Let's look at our communications. Everything's still pretty green. Now you have 3. This one might be a little close to this, but this is the telecoms tower, and these are the radio masts. So this is a huge one, and I think it's going to be just fine. Interestingly, there actually could be better coverage here in the middle, but we'll get to that later. Okay, so now we have this telecom tower moved, and we've got some room to do some turnarounds. So let's see. I think before we start connecting up all of these lines together, let's start doing some subway stations, and then we'll figure out what to do next. So I would like to have a subway line that maybe goes along High Street and go back and forth along High Street. And eventually it could maybe even, come out and go across into this area. I don't know. I think we have enough coverage for that. So maybe let's back up. Hold on. Let's do this way first. I know for a fact I do want a subway station close to our train. So there's going to be one there, right? Bam. I would say if we come over this way, we don't have enough workers in some of these. Let's do a second one, maybe right here. Or better yet, this is the 2-laner. Oh, but this has no zoning on it. Let's put it right there. I know it's going to remove that one building, but that's okay. So we have one here. That's going to connect over to this guy here. We're going to come a bit further down. We have one this way. I need one over here by the university. Let's do a quick little check and see. Are you occupied? Yeah, you're occupied and very happy. Occupied and very happy. Do you have a business, though? You do. You have an electronics company. You have an electronics company. You have an electronics company. You're just a residency. All right, I think, unfortunately, this is progress. We're going to have to delete a few things. So let's place this along this corner here. So now we have 1, 2, 3 subways. And I wouldn't mind having one more subway over here for now. I think that's going to be enough. But we'll have a third or fourth subway over here kind of connecting into Elizabeth Square. I guess I could even send it out a bit further. So maybe what we do instead, let's actually rotate this. Let's place them along this road. And let's place a final one kind of right over here by the elementary school. Now, for some reason, it's overlapping some of this stuff, which I don't know if I fully understand why that's overlapping. Like, what are you overlapping? You're underground. Okay, we're going to force it because it doesn't make sense why it would be overlapping. All right, and that'll probably be maybe the last one, but it gives us 2 on either side of Elizabeth Square, which I think is valuable. It's in between... you know what? Turn off anarchy. Let's actually go ahead and move this. I think this needs to go over here. I know it's going to ruin a little bit of home and business, but I think it goes over here because then it's right across the street and on the same side as this Belmont Fairview connection bus line. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stops on this subway. Let's start with this and let's see how we go. Eventually, we're going to do elevated subways and all of that, but for now, we're just going to focus on the underground subway station. So, small overground subway station, underground subway station, small elevated, double-sided track. Okay. Send our double-sided track underground. Give me the underground view. Need to go further? There we go. Okay, so we want to connect up from here. Frankly, we want to go from here to here, which we might just be able to do it like that, which is fine with me. I think, or we could kind of do something like this and let it get a little curve, get a little curvaceous. Anarchy's off and it's still able to do that, but that's perfect. Then we also want to do kind of a second curve here because we want to go from here to here into here. Nice sweeping, not even sweeping, but just smooth curves. Go from here to here to here. Okay. This one, go from here to here to here. It's a little bit more curvy, but that's okay. And that's where we're going to end for now. So we've got a subway line going underneath kind of the core of the downtown, which is perfect. Now, we have to somehow get this subway line to connect over to here. Because we have to come all the way over here, I think it makes sense while we're still building out this neighborhood to add in a subway in this section of, well, actually, this is all greenery. Yeah. So we're going to have one along Linden and Garnet Street. And we're going to have a second one over here. They're very close together, but this area was built. We already had subways when we built this area. Or excuse me. How do I want to word this? We have not, we don't have to destroy existing infrastructure to get these subways, so I feel less bad about having multiple subway stations. I don't have to delete anything to make that happen. Only a 2% grade increase? Great. Great, so that comes over this way. Now, these have to somehow get connected up to this. So here's what I think happens here. I think this curves and comes over this way, comes up to here, that was not exactly what I was looking for. Let's back that up. Let's try going the other direction. Let's take... Really, I just need these front ones. They're coming out of this building. They come out either side. Yeah, they can come out either side. Those are... see, but this is the double track. No, they're all single tracks. Okay, great. So, they're all single tracks. It's a one-way track. So the one-way could connect into this, and then we could also have a one-way going back this way. So let's do 1 and 1. It's not perfectly aligned, though. Perfect. Okay, there we go. So now what we want to do is we want to, I think, bring this line up. Like this, 6.3. It's going to have to go up a little bit of a hill. That's okay. I think 6% is fine. And then it's going to come up to here and kind of curve back. Now here, it's going to be slow. So having a steeper grade is not really a problem because it's going to be going nice and slow. At this point in the ride, like, we're not going to really have passengers on this. Let's go forward a bit. Let's connect over, and then let's try to see if we can do this in a nice way. I don't know if we can, but we're going to try. Okay. Okay. Now, I also think that we maybe have a second line that comes out like this, right? And then this guy is actually just going to become a double and go straight on in. I don't think there's any reason to get fancy with you. Okay. It's a rail yard. I mean, what do you expect? It looks like a rail yard. I don't necessarily love this connection. I was going to act like it was fine. It's not fine. I think it could be better. Let's try this instead. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot more. I think we can still go straight, but I think that just looks... It looks a bit better that way. These back guys I'm going to leave alone, and these front guys I don't think we actually have to do anything with just now. Eventually, though, I could see a world where this connects over this way and goes along this backside here of the dam. It could become elevated at this point and loop over and around, and that's what could help fill in this section. Would be a second line that goes there. But let's refocus up on getting this thing functioning. So we're currently making a monthly balance of $4,705. Phenomenal. Our services are doing all fine. Yeah. Let's go ahead and do just a little bit of a bump up here. Increase Do I get happiness at any point? No, it doesn't give me any happiness at any point. All right, so let's just take this to 110%. Let's also take this to 110%. Fire to 110 and police to 110. Yeah. Yeah. Happy with that. It might tank a little bit of the budget, but at 4 million, we're doing just fine. Let's go ahead and turn this guy back on. It costs 51,000 per month to run. And then let's set up our first subway line. So our first line would come from here over to here. It would scoop up this way into the train. Although, now that I say it, I'm pretty certain we can just add a train line, a subway station at the train station. I have to go double check that. I might have built some redundancy here. Scoot on down this way. Does this one already have? No, maybe not. It might be an add-on though. We'll connect to here. And then our last stop is here next to the elementary school. Okay. Then I wonder if this has to do a turnaround. It might have to. So what if I were to take this? We're at the end of the line. This is all underground, so like nobody cares anyway. Scoot this to here. Scooch this to here. I don't know how this works. We're figuring it out together, y'all. Let's do the complex curve and loop it back in. So then, if we go back to this, no lines to show. Okay. Line. You go to here. Getting the sense that this doesn't work correctly, so let's try this instead. Let's go back over here. Let's just see here. If I go from here to here, all the way over to here, all the way down to here. This is a very long stretch. Okay, so far it is working. Okay. Then you come to here. Then you come to here. Can this actually work? I don't know if this is working the way I'm thinking it does. No, it does work. If I were to click on this, then what happens? Or does it just stay in the same line? Oh, I think it just stays on the same line. I think that little roundabout thing is completely unnecessary. Or maybe it does. Hold on. And now it's disappeared again. Can you go to this other stop on this other side? Yeah, can you go to this one? Maybe not. Go to there. Frankly, as long as you run like back and forth, I don't really care what you look like. You're underground, I can't see you. We'll learn how to use this system later, but for now, I just want to get a functioning subway system in my city. There we go. There we go. All right, so the last one, it just reverses back out and then it moves into the other lane. And if that's the case, then I want to take one of these, remove that, move that to there, move this to here. There we go. So now you're on both sides. You just do that little turnaround, which is great because then we can also come in here and just get rid of this unnecessary loop around. Okay, transport lines, subway. We have a subway. It's got 3 trains and 12 stops with 0 passengers, which is totally fine. Let's click on the stations here in the downtown. Where were they? We've got one here. What is this here? Station services, small shops, restaurants, and kiosks for passenger convenience increases the comfort level of the station. So in Philly, we have a place called Suburban Station, which is like kind of where a lot of the trains meet. There's also 30th Street, but Suburban Station is right in the heart of the downtown. And underneath of Suburban Station, or around Suburban Station, where the subways are and all the train lines are, is a bunch of shops. So I'm thinking both of these are kind of filling in that need where they both have a lot of shops in them, and there we go. Now, we are in a space where we're looking for more businesses. So what I think we're going to do, or not businesses, some more housing. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and throw in. Can I get 2 buildings here, actually? Let's just unzone all this. Let's zone this. And then we'll zone that. There we go. So we have 2 separate buildings there kind of filling in that hole, which is great. Over here, we're fine. Here's the other subway, but it looks like it was able to fill in a little piece there. This subway is not actually surrounded by anything. That's not a problem. Let's now start thinking about this area here. So these are the NA mixed use. I wouldn't mind maybe doing a few low density, or not low density, low rent housing. Whew, hard to remember all of these different types of housing. Along this row here, just because you're next to this train line predominantly, I think that's going to help address some of that demand. We also could do some medium density. I think by the time you get to this area, this is going to be row homes. So I think all of this here is going to be nice European style row homes. There's not going to be any on this side. That's going to stay open, but there's going to be European style row homes all along there. Is this a direction that can be zoned? No, it's all coming from this way. Okay. I do think around this park is all also going to be European style row homes. Go and fill all that in, because like this park is just like one of the nice parts of this area. So let's go ahead and give all of this some beautiful zoning. Let's actually dezone this and remove all of this and let all of that become large plot zoning. Great. Then at this point, we would begin to do some of these medium density houses, or excuse me, medium density residential plots. Oh, but I didn't want European over here. Sorry, guys. That was my bad. All of this is actually supposed to be American style. Next time I build a city, I will not make the same mistake. This all over here, again, I think this could become like row homes. I think I'm fine with that. I think this could all be row homes as well. Great. Great. There is some demand for office and some other things, but I think I'd rather we continue just focusing on pumping up this residential while we can. All of this here could also be residential. And I think I'm going to actually remove these homes and make all of this high density housing. Great. Along this road, it's high density, so get into it. I think back here we could do there we go, one big guy. Perfect. All right, so then that's going to all start filling in nicely. It's going to hopefully give us a bit of a slope in building height. We'll see if I've done this in a decent enough way. I think I could get into like a few bigger things right here, and then maybe switch this over to mixed use and switch all of this to mixed use, and it can just be larger style buildings. We'll see what zones there. We'll do a little medium density right here. All right, and then we're barely making a dent in this. What is our taxes for 8% across the board residential taxes. We're going to make that 10%, partially to help kind of dampen some of the demand. So 10, 10. The only 6 we have is lodging, because I can't seem to get lodging to save my life. I don't think we have enough tourism to incite people coming in for lodging. So, and then I think here all the 9s are going to become 10s, because it looks like this is very much recovered. And ideally, I would like this to be a little bit higher than the residential, but we're trying to focus on a few key industries, so that's fine. All right, we're getting some, becoming winter time. I'm excited to see this little area, because I think having like this tree line view, and you don't really see the buildings below. So all you're seeing is trees and then this beautiful lake. Eventually this will all be city on the other side, which is going to look awesome as well. So let's go ahead and speed this up a bit. Let that continue to do what it's got to do. I do also think we need a welfare office over here. So before we level out some of this land or smooth some things out, I think we need a welfare office. I'm trying to figure out if I care for this curve, but I also think that because, again, you're going so slow, I think we're going to leave it. It's just fine. Let's see if we can stick a welfare office right here along Linden Street. So welfare, I believe, is in here. Yes. Welfare office. We can. Oh, my word. Okay, so the welfare office is absolutely going right here. I think we place it right there, and this is a one-way. I think we go ahead and we do a alleyway right off of here along the backside of the welfare office, and we do some nice parking. What's modest? A little too modest. A long parking lot, medium parking lot, wide parking lot. Ooh, let's do a wide parking lot. Although it almost looks as though it needs something on the other side. The wide parking lot, honestly, literally fits perfectly in here. We're wide parking lotting it. We're wide parking lotting it. Let's remove that stuff there so you can get on both sides. Perfect. And we still have some demand for residential. Let's see how this is filling in. This is looking really nice. I like that there is a tall building. I do wish there was a few more. So I think this area here needs to get all high density zoning, as well as here, right? We get high density all the way through this section. We're actually starting to make a dent into that, which is great. And then I think we do low density medium density for the rest of this. I'm actually going to switch it up. We're going to stick with European medium density. But before we do, let's go ahead and make some adjustments. Give this a key wall on this side so that all of our zoning is facing Alyssa Street. I think the same here. I think, frankly, the same there as well. I want everything along Alyssa Street. So Linden Street has guardrails on both sides, and so does Evergreen. I think that does the same. So now everything is going to be facing outward from here and outward from here, which is perfect. And I think while we're at it, let's go ahead and just fill this whole area in and just finish out Linden Street really on both ends. Why not? This side will keep open. That's fine. Okay, so now medium density. Let's do just some different size ones throughout here. Keep it a little interesting. Okay, and then here as well, we're going to do some more medium density. Perfect. Now, Mill Street, I think I want this to be focused primarily on business. I know we don't really have demand for business at the moment. What does a like 3x3 office look like? Or like a 3x4 office? Like, are these really, really tall? Because we are beginning to, yeah, they're too tall. I can just tell by the crane. That's far too tall of a building. Okay, so then if that's the case, let's switch this back up to this guy. Make it a bit smaller. That one we'll leave. We'll see what comes out of that. But let's try to fill in some of this as best we can. Frankly, fill in this whole thing because this is having to switch anyway. Let them be whatever they want to be. This here can also be offices. There's going to be some bigger ones here, which is fine. I mean, all the business needs to go along this road. If it just so happens that right now what our demand for is office, then make all this office. I'm not going to wait around for something that is going to take forever to come, you know? So make all that office. We're now starting to really hit that office demand, which is perfect. Let's switch back over here. I know there's still a lot of pollution in this area. However, I think what happens is we fill all this with this low density and it's not an ideal place to live. That we already know, but it's what you got. There are housing options available. And if these are not to your liking, then you can find somewhere else to live. But this is what we've got for you. Best of luck. Godspeed. I also think I want a little slap of industrial there. I know it's right next to residential. I'm fine with that. So we've now zoned Sunset and we've put down a welfare office and our subway. We're gonna give it a little bit longer for that subway to kind of get its bearings and see how she's doing. Love this building a lot. Oh yeah. And we're just like really starting to get a much better kind of skyline going on here. What's happening right here? Is this an accident? Yeah, just an accident. The roads are a little slick. Sorry, everybody. How is the road condition? Bad is red. None of it is red. So I guess the road condition's good. Traffic all around. We're at, I want to say 68, 70%. There are some areas that are allegedly not good, like Coal Bluff, but this is all parked cars. Like, this is not a light. These people are just parked. So it's busy, but I don't think that there's like a backup per se. And then all the downtown here, again, they're like, it's red, but like there's 2 or 3 cars. So it's not terrible. Power, we're doing just fine. We're trading some. Money's not an issue at this point, so we're good there. Water and sewage, we're doing okay. This is where we got to start thinking about, all right, we need some health care for Sunset Springs. They're doing fine on trash for the most part, which is great. We don't really have good fire coverage down on the corners here of Summit Hill and Sunset Springs. So I could entertain a small fire. So we need healthcare and fire. Police, we're doing fine. I mean, this Crestview is becoming kind of like a tough neighborhood around the university. It's giving Johns Hopkins, Baltimore, but like I'm into that. That's kind of fun. What is this? Administration. We just placed down this new welfare building. Linden Crest is really not covered well, nor is, ironically, Crestview. So that's something we might want to think about, how to fit another one of those buildings in there. Education. We don't have enough education for our citizens, point blank period. There's just not enough room in our education system. Subway. 1,800 citizens took it. We're going to wait on looking at that any further. So let's focus on, I think, 3 of these services. We need post office, we need healthcare, and we need fire, really, in this area here. So let's make that happen. Post office first, because we have this new small post office, which I think is just freaking adorable. I can't really fit it along any of those areas. And some of this we've purposely zoned in such a way that I'm blocking anything else from being there. But I think let's throw this actually right behind the subway station. Let's select an operating district. And for now, let's just do Sunset Springs. I think it's totally fine. We also needed a little bit of fire. I want a small little firehouse, nothing extravagant. We've got a connection here with Lafayette Street, so whatever we place is going to be able to service both sides pretty nicely. I wonder if we remove this little nub on Middle Street, which is going to cause that whole road to change names. That's something they definitely need to look into. It's technically overlapping like this area of the train. So that doesn't really work too well. Oh, you know what? There's nothing here. Tiny little firehouse right there on the corner. I think that looks nice. It's snowy, but yes. This is exactly what I had hoped would be here. These like small little homes, little alley in between them, but all these little houses right here next to both a park on one side and then this gorgeous view on the other side. I mean, right now you're looking at oil fields, but eventually it's going to be amazing. And then we also need healthcare. Did we ever place down a hospital anywhere? I don't think we ever did. If I were... Oh my gosh, they're huge though. That's a parking lot. I mean, like that would be a great place, but there's just not enough room for it there. I think a small medical clinic could satisfy the needs of this area just fine. Or we could just do a regular medical clinic. We could slap it in here. Can it fit along that road? Oh, you know what? I took off the zoning along that side of Linden. Let's see. Let's fix this road. Remove that from this side. Oh, it can fit. I know it's directly across the street from a crematorium. And I recognize how morbid that seems. But if it fits, it ships. So we're shipping it. Let's go ahead and place another path right here. I don't know what you're intersecting with. We're going to send you all the way over, and then we're actually going to remove one of your crosswalks. There we go. Okay. So we have this little square we haven't zoned either, which is kind of nice. We still have a lot of demand. So why don't we go ahead and just fill in all three of those with more of these, like, you know, little houses. Lots of crazy hills. That's fine. We're never going to get close enough to really see that. I'm not going to fight with it. And I will even put some houses along the side here, but they will get tinier because I don't want them to get crazy looking. Does this side also get homes? I think it does. I think it does. I think it gets... We're going to quickly pause. Minimum, you got to do 2. Give a few areas where there are 3, right? And then a few areas where there's 4. And then in the middle of some of these, just cut out 1 or 2 things. Yeah. Perfect. So now we have a little bit of extra zonage there as well. I mean, this is looking really nice. Like, look at that view. That's just gorgeous. Just gorgeous. And there is a nice little cadence there of the height of the buildings changing. I don't love this. This is absolutely foul. Foul, abysmal, terrible, trash. But then again, what else would you put right next to this? And frankly, you know what I think we do? This might ruffle some feathers. Remove all the zoning. I don't know how many people live there, but remove that zoning. And I know originally we had all this here and they're leveling up and they're like, wow, this is great that we have these homes. But remove all this zoning as well. Oop. Yep. So now we have this like very open cavity here, which is great. What I want to do, and we're just going to time lapse this real quick so you guys don't have to sit here and watch me do this, but I'm going to just throw down a ton of trees on either side of this train track. Let's see what we get. Okay, so it's hard to tell because it's winter, so everything looks the same, but we've got a really nice thicket of trees here, and I also started filling in a few of these blocks now that some of the buildings I think have kind of settled down a little bit, but now we've got a much better kind of little just pathway here, and it makes this like little nature walk a little bit nicer in my opinion because now you're surrounded by trees. I mean, look how fun that view is. You've got beautiful trees, you've got huge skyscrapers, and then you come out here and you're like in this little neighborhood, which I think is adorable. Now, I say all that, and I definitely think we could throw in a few trees over here. It's looking a little sparse. I'm finding that at least here in winter, I'm really enjoying the shapes of the chestnut, obviously the oak, and then the alder. Alder, yep. I think the three of them together just look nice. We can sprinkle in a few little spruces as well, just to kind of fill it out a little bit more. They're also a touch smaller than the others. I think it gives me a bit more flexibility there. Great. All right, I think that looks really nice. Much, much nicer. Okay, so I think we've really accomplished everything I set out to do. I mean, I have a little list here in front of me. Subway, welfare office, service for sunset, zone sunset. We've done that. Unfortunately, we've not been able to get the local demand up for commercial yet, but we have an insane amount of demand for our residential, which is awesome. Unoccupied buildings and taxes are two of the things stopping our commercial from coming around. Here's what we're going to do. Bump this to 12. Put all of this to 10. We're going to be encouraging business for the moment. So make this 10 across the board, right? Okay, 12, 10. This here, I want this to be 13 for everyone. I know I was like trying to have some kind of system here, but I think it's just so much to keep track of. Let's actually make this 14, and then let's make this 11. Make them 11, make this 12. We're encouraging commercial, so we want to keep commercial coming in. Okay, so that still gives me 11 million in terms of, and now we're even making more money. What in the world? Hopefully that's going to start readjusting itself here in a second. We've got some surpluses here from materials, which is great. Services we're actually paying more for, and they're doing fine. We don't have a loan. All that looks nice. We have no demand right now for offices. And is that because of taxes? Yeah, taxes. But now we have solved the tax issue here, and they're going to start filling in the unoccupied buildings. So let's let that happen, and then we'll figure out what to do from there. High-speed highways remove speed limits, traffic flows faster, but noise pollution increases. Accidents are slightly more likely. Advertising increases the city attractiveness, which brings in more tourists. This unfortunately increases the crime rate around tourist attractions. I am going to say go ahead and do that because I want to get some more tourists in our city. I don't think we've had, frankly, any tourists. Yeah, the number of tourists we have goes down. Wow. The number of tourists we had just recently fell for some reason. I couldn't even tell you what that reason was. But all around, I think we've done a lot of good work today. Maybe some of these buildings are a little tall for a smooth transition, but we do get into some nice smaller housing here, which is nice. I think the last thing we got to do before we forget, because I will never come back to do it again, let's just try to smooth out some of this terraforming that we did, just so that it doesn't look as harsh once all this snow melts, which frankly, it could take forever for the snow to melt. I like winter, but I'm glad that it's only a season. I never, in City Skylines 1, never got really deep into any city I started that was on the snow map because, I don't know, there's something about building on when the ground is all white and all the tops of the buildings are white. It's just so meh to me. I can't do it. All right, this guy is a road maintenance building, which is why there's a bit of traffic behind him. Let's see if we can follow one of our subways. 337 passengers. Let's see if we get somebody coming over this way. We got a subway anytime soon? Guess we can do it this way. We click on this. Line visibility. How many vehicles assigned? 3, because there are 3 vehicles. Let's go over here. Oh, perfect timing. Okay, so our subway has stopped at its first station, which, pause. This is the Sunset Springs station, subway station. Okay, we are going to try to keep up. Subway, okay, great. We're at 2 times speed, perfect. Moving right along. We have 9 passengers and 2 dogs. Not bad. We get to the second station. Great. We pick anybody up? I don't think so. But this one here, we're just going to call this Linden Street subway station. It's in this area, but that's totally fine. Ooh, 22 people and 5 dogs. Perfect. Let's go to 3 times speed because the subway does wait a little bit, which I'm noticing. Don't love that 24 people. I mean, I guess the people love it. They're rushing to get to the train. We loop around here. Eventually, Lowest Peak is going to become Lowest Peak Park, and I'm very excited to do that. I think it'll be nice. We'll put a lot of pathways and try to do some connectivity here. This area is Summit Hill. We're at 24. 39 and 14. I'll take it. Let's change this to Summit Hill. Okay. 39, 14. We're moving right along. I do think it might benefit us to have another subway somewhere in here. I'll let you guys tell me what you think in the comments because I think we could have more subway infrastructure. I just don't know if I've thought through it enough yet to know what that would look like. 56 and 17. Now this one here is technically Summit Hill, but we're going to call this... Actually, no, it's the Kersey subway station. Oh. Oh, crap. There we go. Now we're over here at this subway. You're at 40 and 12, so people did get off here. This is McDry, I guess? It's technically inside McDry, so we'll name it McDry. Moving right along. 4013, I love that. All right, this is probably considered Washington. Yeah, Washington Glade. Okay, subway's still a moving. We're now at 31. So we let some people off. I'm sure some people got back on. And this is where we do that little bit of a loop because we have to get over to here. This is Elizabeth Square for sure. 31 and 11. And then what do we have on the return? 35 and 6. Great. So this is Washington Square. Now, I will say, we could also entertain... There's a lot of people that live here, so I could see maybe having like a station over here somewhere that connects somehow into this station and then maybe comes over here. But this gets pretty... This is low density. I don't know if that's necessary. This is the major corridor. There could be a benefit to having one that goes this way, but I like how we've got this kind of hook. I think it's working so far. All right. That's where we're going to leave this part here, guys. I think we've made a lot of progress on Summit Hill, or no, Sunset Springs. Yeah, Sunset Springs. There is a bit of an abruptness I'm noticing in certain angles, but I do love this. I mean, you have got a gorgeous little swoop of the different heights, and that's exactly what we're looking for. I also just like that all these buildings here are overlooking like such a fun little view. And when that's filled out as a city as well, it's going to be great. But I think we're going to leave this part here. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.